What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers got an absolute massive win yesterday, arguably the biggest win of the season. The Lakers now control the 7th seed, which is massive. Anthony Davis was an absolute monster in this game. He got injured. We were all just like, holding our breaths, like, no way, this can't be happening. There go our playoff hopes. And then boom, he bounces back. And his injury really changed the tide of this game. There was just this scramble, and Lakers got, a couple steals that led to a couple buckets, and it just completely changed the trajectory of this game. It wasn't looking very good until AD got injured. Then he bounced back from injury and just completely took over. 38 points, 17 rebounds, was 15 of 26 from the field, 2 blocks, a steal, and just an absolute monster game going up against Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns as our sole center and big man. And this team as a whole just really was a group effort, a team effort. And again, the Lakers now control the 7th seed, which was even more important, right? This could be the game that we look back and go, okay, we got it, right? That Minnesota game on the road, we are 2-0 on this road trip. We have 2 games that should be gimme games, right? Got the Houston Rockets tomorrow, and then you got the Utah Jazz. And then after that, that's when you got that rough stretch, right? You got the Clippers, which is a road game, but it's at Staples Center, so it's technically a home game. And then you have the Phoenix Suns. We have to beat that Clippers team. We have to. That might end up being the difference between us getting the 6th seed or not. We'll see how it goes. The Clippers end up playing the Pelicans. If the Pelicans can beat the Clippers, then that would be huge because that would put the Clippers at 38 losses. Where if us as the Lakers, when we go to play the Clippers, if we can win, then that would put them at 39 losses. So as long as we sweep the board, assuming the Clippers don't lose to anybody else, which they still could, but if they lose to the Pelicans and they lose to us, and we end up beating Phoenix and then Utah, we would be the 6th seed, which would be massive. Now, there's also the possibility that the Warriors end up dropping a couple games or something like that, and we have the tiebreaker over the Warriors, so that could be huge. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, one step at a time. The Warriors have a couple games that are going to be interesting up ahead, but we'll see, right? Good news is we have the 7th seed. We control the 7th seed. We have the tiebreaker against the Pelicans. We do not have the tiebreaker against the Timberwolves, but as long as we at least stay a game ahead of the Timberwolves, then we're good, right? Ideally, we need to sweep the board here and, finish this 7-0 stretch. That would just be absolutely incredible. But if worst case, we got to go 6-1. Right? At worst case, you beat the Clippers and you lose to the Suns and you put yourself in a position and you let the cards fall where they may. But in general, it's been a journey, right? To start from 2-10 to now we're a game over 500. It seemed nearly impossible for a stretch. And now this team just breathes so much light. LeBron James had a very rough game. He still gave you 18, 10, and 6. He also gave you 2 blocks, a steal, and he only had 3 turnovers, which was good. But he was 7 of 19 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, and just didn't have his best performance. It almost seemed like he was coasting out there. It kind of seemed like he wasn't really there. He said that he's still getting into rhythm. He hasn't really found his rhythm yet, hasn't really found his stride. Which makes sense. It is only his 3rd game back. He'll be fine. It's good that he's kind of ramping up and contributing. And I'll take a 30% LeBron over like 90% of the league, right? And we need him more for the play-in and playoffs, right? So you want LeBron to get these rough games out of the way, get these rough games out of your system, so that way he can be 100% ready to go and get ready for this playoff run and try to go get number 18. That would be fantastic. Also, the Timberwolves are just a tough matchup in general, right? They're long, they're big, they're athletic, they're physical, and they were just, throwing bodies, throwing guys at LeBron. and just trying to make it as difficult as possible for him. And other guys really stepped up, and it was great to see, right? Beasley even. Beasley seemed to come out of his shell. Now, he only played 10 minutes, but in 10 minutes, he went 3 of 4 from 3, 3 of 5 from the field. He made his first 3 threes. I'm not going to lie, I kind of wish that the Lakers gave him a little more burn than that. I don't mind. Look, I'm not complaining. Lakers got the win. That's all that matters. I could care less about anything else, but we could really use Beasley, especially come playoff time. We could really use Beasley kind of getting awakened, unlocked a little bit. And again, in 10 minutes, he gave us 9 points and 6 boards. He had himself a game, was really solid, and just kind of seemed to play with confidence, which if he ever was going to, it was going to be this Timberwolves game, right? I mean, he's familiar with the team. He's familiar with the court. That's where he kind of got established. So made sense, right? The revenge game. That's what you wanted to see. Him, Vanderbilt, and D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell, he had a bit of a rough game offensively, but was really good in other areas. He gave us 2 steals. He also did a ton of playmaking, gave us 10 assists and 12 points. Jared Vanderbilt, just monster on the defensive end. Really shut down Ant-Man in many ways. Now, people try to attribute it to the illness and all that stuff. They weren't saying that earlier in the game, and give Vanderbilt credit. I mean, Vanderbilt did the same thing to Ant-Man previously, right? I mean, Ant-Man played better than he did this last go, but you had Vanderbilt, who was still making things very difficult for him. And so you got to give Vanderbilt some credit. He contributed with 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 of 8 from the field. And again, 2 of 2 from 3. He's really knocking down that corner 3, which would be massive if that can continue. And also gave us 2 steals. But Beasley, I really hope that this is kind of the beginning of his turnaround. If he can give us, 3, 4, 5 threes a game, start getting into a positive stretch, that would be nice. That's kind of why I wanted him. I'm not saying you had to play him 30, 40 minutes, anything like that. But if we could have gotten him in, another 5, 10 minutes, maybe give him 15 to 20 minutes, I think that would have been helpful, especially if he could have knocked down a couple threes. Like, let's say he gave us, another 2 or 3 threes, and let's say he went like 5 of 7 or something like that, or 5 of 8, right? Like, that would have been huge for just his confidence in going forward. But regardless, we got the win. We played our guys. You had everybody pretty scattered, which was nice. He kept Darvin Ham really kept the rotation tight, which is what you need, and especially come playoff time, which we're getting closer to playoffs. I mean, even Troy Brown only played 9 minutes. You had the bench in general outside of Rui Hachimura and Dennis Schroeder. Gabriel was the next highest with 15 minutes. But speaking of Dennis Schroeder and Rui Hachimura, they were incredible. I mean, incredible. You got to give these two a world of credit. Defensively, they completely changed the tide of this game. Seriously. Now, Dennis Schroeder, he contributed scoring-wise too and some playmaking. He actually had a solid all-around game. Gave us 11 points, 3 of 4 from the field, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Rui Hachimura, he was 1 of 4 from the field, 4 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and 1 steal. But defensively, Rui was a monster. He was really good holding his own against Karl Anthony Towns, which he has a size disadvantage, right? And he was just showed his physicality, his strength, his toughness. He just got low, and Cat could not move him. And this is what I've talked about with Rui. That's why I say all the time, like, he's more of a 4 than he is a 3. He's not good laterally. He's not good at moving side to side defensively. But what he is a good, stocky guy. He's more Aaron Gordon than like Mikal Bridges, right? You have these 2 types of forward. You have the skinny, athletic, very lateral quickness type forwards that are, 6'8". And then you have like the stocky, sort of brawly type power forwards, small forwards like a Rui Hachimura. He's just strong, physical, and he was great. and really held his own. Dennis Schroeder completely changed the tide of the game. I mean, Mike Conley was butchering us. I mean, he was killing us in that first half. Dennis Schroeder just put a ton of pressure on him and all the guards, made things difficult. Dennis Schroeder was even guarding Rudy Gobert at times, and even guarding like Cat at times, and doing a great job, fighting and being physical. He had a couple times where he got scored on, but still he was very physical, which is what you wanted to see. And these two guys deserve a ton of credit when it comes to just on the defensive end. And then Schroeder, again, with his playmaking, his scoring, really kind of it really changed the course of this game, right? Again, defensively, we were locked in that second half. The Timberwolves had no answer. I mean, we basically took control, and we never gave control back from the moment we took it. And it was on the defensive end. Defense is what wins. Defense is what wins championships. We have been a number one defense for a reason. We're a top defense in the league for a reason. And it was on full display against a very good, athletic, physical Minnesota team who they've been very good lately, right? I mean, they should have beaten the Suns the other night. They just had a couple, just sort of bonehead moves, a lot of offensive fouls through moving screens and stuff, and they kind of just gave that game away. Where the Lakers, we won this game. We, again, took control, shut them down. They had no answers for it. We were swarming. It was just beautiful to see, beautiful to watch, and that needs to continue, right? We got to stop these, this, like, tale of two halves, though, right? And we have to do a better job of closing quarters. Like, that's a big issue, right? Like, closing quarters and giving a full 48 minutes, right? Like, this team really shows that they can just turn it on, right? And that's good, right? It's good. But we're not in the 3 seed, right? Like, if we're the 3rd seed in the West and it's like, we're locked into the playoffs, like, yeah, you can show the ability to turn it on. Like, we've seen the bubble team, right? Bubble team showed on numerous occasions the ability to just, okay, it's the 4th quarter, let's lock in and go win this game, right? They did that countless times all year. But they were the best team in the league. They had the number 1 record in the entire NBA. They were top 5 offense, top 5 defense. Like, it was, they were in a position where they could turn it on and off. Where the Lakers this year, we're not really in that position, right? And yes, we're winning games, but we gotta, I just don't want it to be a habit come the playoffs. Don't really think it's a huge concern, especially the last stretch of games. Although the Clippers and the Suns, I think we really got to come out with some urgency in those 2 games. But like against the Rockets, if you have a bad first half, unless like Houston's just shooting the lights out and you're down 20, that's not good. But you're down 7 at halftime. Not a big deal. You lock it up like you did against Minnesota, and you're going to win that game. Same thing with Utah, stuff like that. But do that to a good team. Do that to the Clippers. You do that in the playoffs. You could be on the outside looking in, and that's not something that we want. But in general, this was just a great, solid, all-around win, and a much-needed win. And now we control our destiny. We control our fate the rest of the way. And we have to just keep game at a time, 1 foot forward, keep rattling off these wins, and let's go get the playoffs. Let's go get in the playoffs. Let's go try to contend for a championship, because I really do believe that this team has a real shot. From what we've seen, the way that this team can play, still undefeated with all the starters and everyone healthy, even in a bad game by LeBron, it's a beautiful thing. And we weren't having this conversation 2 months ago. 2 months ago, it was like, are we even going to be a play-in team, right? And now look, now it's like, oh man, like if we get to the playoffs, we're talking championship now. It's just a completely different thing. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? You excited? You pumped? You like this? What did you think of the win? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below.